negotiating. Now, we have talked about negotiating when it comes to career and salary, and that's where our mind tends to go when we're talking about negotiating. But I want to talk about things outside of work and career. When do we can negotiate? And negotiations could be in every subject. Everything, I firmly believe everything is negotiable. And food is one of my favorite things. So every country I have ever visited, I always bargain for food because usually I shop at markets. Would you do this? Would you take this? And this can be had at corner vendors, food trucks, anywhere, even when you're purchasing things outside of groceries. Anything and everything is negotiable. Now, in the US, not so much. The price is what it is, and we tend to not negotiate or ask for a discount. I have asked for a discount every single time I make a purchase. Does it make me feel uncomfortable? Has it? Absolutely. But now that I've been doing it for so many years, it's kind of caught on. And I have the people with me, especially my wife, of saying, but now she does it too, right? It's contagious. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Get uncomfortable asking for deals, asking for a discount. I've heard the argument about having a credit card to get 5 or 10% back or whatever that is. Well, Lowe's has a card that gives you that. But guess what? When you go into Lowe's, you ask for a discount and they give it to you anyway because it's just a button. And sometimes it's more than the discount you get with a credit card. Have the guts to ask and be uncomfortable. So, what other areas can we negotiate? Well, we can negotiate with our utilities, right? The things that we do for the house, the lights, the water, and all this. Is there a better rate available? Well, we don't know unless we call and ask. And it's that simple. Just call and ask. Is there a better rate that I can get for my electricity? Would you be willing to do this for a period of time? 3 months, 12 months? Somewhere else that you can negotiate is at your bank. So me personally, I have never paid a bank fee in the sense that they hold my money for me. Never have. Some people have believed that that is the way the bank operates. You have to pay them a $3 or a $10 fee every single month just to have an open bank account. Now that's becoming less and less, I know, but some of you out there are still paying bank fees. Stop that. Get rid of that. And that is simply a phone call. Just calling the bank or even going in and saying, I no longer want to pay these bank fees. What can you do? On this subject, I really want to drive home of I'm telling you to negotiate, but how do I do that? What happens if they say no, all these things? Well, yes, you're going to have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is they say no and nothing changes. One, you don't save 10% at Lowe's or you continue to pay your bank fee. But I'm trying to teach you to negotiate, not do that. But if you have to, the next action step would be to shop somewhere else. Here in the US, if it's not Lowe's, you go to Home Depot. Right? That's one example. If your bank doesn't want to get rid of those fees, well, then you're going to have to be willing to go to a different bank. But the majority of the time, when you make the phone call and you ask, you tend to always get what you ask for. And if you don't, well, another option is call back the next day and you'll get someone else different on the line. That's the joy of working and doing business with larger companies, because at some point, someone's going to tell you yes, but you can't give up. Now, outside of the financial things, of ways to save money and that kind of things, when it comes to negotiating, well, you also want to be able to negotiate with how much time you're going to spend with family. If you have family and you want to spend family time, well, how much time is that? How many times a year are you going to go over to your family's house or your partner? How often are they going to go? How often are you going to go? right? All these things are also negotiations that I want to encourage you to have with those people in your life. This goes with friends and family, coworkers, even. All of these things are negotiable. This goes for holidays, right? We can think about that related to holiday time, right? Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these different holidays, but also holidays when we go on trips, right? We're going to go take a week and go to the beach. Well, who's coming? How long are they going to go for? I want to do this. They want to do this. Let's have those negotiations and understand that negotiating is a give and take when it comes to relationships. And what does that look like? We want it always to be a win-win-win situation. Everybody involved is winning, and the situation or the experience is a happy one. And this becomes even more relevant when you go overseas. Overseas holidays are a big deal. Some people have never been. Some people like to go and they do want to do everything in 2 weeks. And then some people only want to go to one city for 2 weeks. But figure out who you are. Figure out who you're going with, what that looks like. And sometimes you may have to go by yourself. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But my biggest thing I want you to take away from this lesson is everything is negotiable. Everything. Even when you go to the grocery store. The checkout lady may not know how to do that, but you could ask for a discount. Or if you go to the markets and buy fresh fruit and vegetables, well, ask for a discount. Everything's negotiable. So don't forget that. You're going to have to be uncomfortable at times, but believe me, that passes and you will get better. It'll become normal. It'll be just another trait of yourself. And it's going to put you ahead financially. Because negotiation usually comes with getting a deal. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Let us know what kind of negotiating wins have you had in the last 12 months. I look forward to reading this. Have a beautiful day.